Welcome back to Fuel Up Classic. My name's Matt Brown, and for many of you that watch the channel have been following, you will know that this is my 1985 Jaguar XJ6 Series 3. But since I bought it back for the second time, it started to have a couple of bubblings of corrosion, a few little bits here and there that needed to be attended to. Now, last year coincided with this car's 40th birthday, and I thought what better than to give it a bit of a birthday present than get those minor areas of corrosion sorted out, and hopefully we can ensure that this car is ready to be used and enjoyed for many more years to come. Now, I can't quite believe this, but it's been 8 months since I last filmed an update on this car. What started out as a couple of bubbles of rust here and there inevitably turned into a much more time-consuming, frustrating, and indeed expensive project than I had set out in the beginning. But anyone who's familiar with classic cars will know it's usually part of the territory. It's not all rosy, and the reality is that these things can cost money, and sometimes they can cause you a bit of a headache as well. But in my hopefully final update on this car, I can now show you my car finished in its 95% state. I'm never going to say that this car is 100% complete, because it's a bit like living in an old house. Once you finish one job, you know that another one inevitably is not far away. But what we have finally achieved is getting the bodywork where I've always wanted it to be. And let's just recap. If you haven't watched the video from 8 months ago, I will link it somewhere on the screen that you can go back and see right when we were in the thick of it. The car was stripped down. It was sort of in between going off to paint, and then at the end of that video we got it back looking all very shiny and lovely. But what you might have thought after that, and I had quite a few questions via Instagram and also on YouTube going, well, what's happened, Matt? It's been 8 months, there's been no update. Well, I thought we were on the home straight with it. When I got the car back from the painters, I really did think a couple of weekends work, we'd have it all back together and ready to be enjoyed once again. But I was wrong. Managing schedules, both my own and the mechanic who did the bulk of the work on this car and the painters, well, that was quite tricky. But what I can say is, now all of this has been done, we've managed to basically bring this car up to a much, much higher standard for what I think is quite a reasonable sum of money. And that's not always the case with these cars, or indeed any kind of restoration work these days. My initial quotes from the big specialists on this car were in excess of £10,000 plus. Well, that was, along with other projects going on last year, a complete no-no. I couldn't stomach that level of money, and essentially, we all know this as well, if you drop a car off like this, off at a specialist to have all that kind of work done, well, you're essentially leaving them with a blank cheque, and I wanted to avoid that. So with the idea of £10,000 plus ringing in my mind, I needed to think of a plan B. The problem was, I didn't have a plan B. So a call went into my painter. He's a good guy, he's worked on the car before, and lo and behold, he's usually got a very, very busy schedule. He told me he had a very short gap in between one big project finishing and another one beginning, and he could possibly do the paint work on my car as long as it was delivered to him on an exact date and picked up at another exact date, and it was ready to go, essentially. So I thought, okay, big tick, we've got that bit sorted. Secondly, phone call went into Mark. You may remember if you've watched the update video, the previous one, I even managed to convince my master mechanic to step in front of the camera and explain all what was going on with this car at the time. And once again, I can't thank him enough. He did so much work on this car to get it both ready for paint and also post building everything back up, being very, very careful with that lovely shiny new paint, protecting things underneath, and just making sure that the car was ready for a good few more years motoring. So with me as the kind of doing the donkey work in the middle, agreeing to basically ferry parts around, make sure the car was where it needed to be, when it needed to be, and generally if there were any headaches, I would try and iron them out myself. Between the three of us, we set about a plan to bring this car up to a better standard, And secretly, I hoped all along we could bring this car up to that standard for much less than what had been quoted elsewhere. Okay, let's not beat around the bush any longer. What we're all here for is to find out what it's all cost. Well, I've broken the parts and labour and indeed the paint down as separate itemised bills, and then we can tally it all up at the end. But I think, if my mental arithmetic is right, we haven't done too badly, to be perfectly honest. Yes, schedules have slipped, it's taken far longer than I expected, and there have been a couple of big headaches along the way. But overall, I spent on the labour, which included the disassembly of the rear end and the rear screen coming out, and then of course the reassembly of everything, £1,546. A lot of work went into that, so I don't think that's too bad at all. And there were a couple of mechanical bits that needed doing, like a rear wheel bearing, and of course 2 new fuel tanks went in as well. So not too bad, £1,546. Parts alone, as I said, I got all the parts and made sure that they were where they needed to be when they needed to be. That cost me a total of £1,301. Notable parts on that are, it's now got galvanised fuel tanks in it. One had completely shot, the original one. The other one was absolutely fine, but we thought whilst we're in there, why not take advantage and replace it? It's also got from the middle back a stainless steel exhaust system now, which sounds lovely and hopefully should last for many more years. And don't underestimate how much things like the rubber seals cost and the trim around the rear window. They all tot up quite quickly. So just over £1,300 spent on parts alone. Then there was the paint. Well, that came in at £2,000. In the end, it did have quite a lot of paint, but we worked on a fixed price and he was very good about that. So £2,000 on paint, and then the final cherry on top was to have the lovely stripe put back on. It's kind of exclusive to the Sovereign top spec models. It's quite hard to replicate, but it does just finish off the car lovely. That cost me an extra £200 to have done. Well, there was a couple of £100 of transport in there as well, because obviously once we had the car stripped down, it needed to go 50 miles over to the body shop and it couldn't be driven. So that cost about £200, if I remember rightly, to get it picked up and transported over. Not too bad. It brings my running total to £5,247, which I think, although at first it's quite an alarmingly high figure, and this isn't a car of great value, but it is a car that's very sentimental to me. So many of us will own these cars, or indeed any classic car, because of sentimental reasons, and my story is no different. But to come in at approximately, 50% of what was quoted by the big guys, the big specialists, well, I think that's seriously impressive. And I don't think we've skimped on the quality of workmanship either. But I can't deny it's been a headache. There were some bumps in the road. The paintwork, after we left the video last time, it was looking fantastic. But during the months that followed, as the car was being fitted up and it was stored elsewhere, I started to notice that in a few places it had reacted. And the awkward phone call went into the painter to say things aren't all as good as they should be. He took it on the chin and basically said, get it down to me, I'll sort it out for you. And to give him his credit, he did exactly that, and everything's been completely fine since. But mostly, the timings have slipped because of my schedule. I'm busy with a full-time job, I'm busy trying to do this, and between the last 12 months, this car has probably sat around for about 6 months of that in between different stages of the job. But here we are, 12 months down the line, a car that's probably the best that I've ever known it. I hope it's going to hold up for many more years to come. What does 2026 bring? Well, I've got to use it more, haven't I? I've always said that this car is my favourite. It's very dear to me. Even when I've had more expensive cars, more perhaps elaborate, flamboyant, flash cars, whatever you want to call it, this is still my go-to and my favourite for a variety of different reasons. And I think that this year I've got to use it more. I've got to take it somewhere, do a couple of road trips. And as always, I'm very open to your suggestions. So drop some comments down below. Let me know where you'd like to see it go, and maybe we can make it happen. Probably not too far though, because this one's never had a great reputation for reliability in my ownership. But nonetheless, we've got to build up the trust again, and hopefully we're a good few years off that corrosion coming back. We all know that these cars will corrode, and they corrode quite quickly, but I think we've done our very best to fend that off for a good few more years just yet. I hope this video has helped you, and if you are interested in purchasing a Jaguar XJ of this era, or indeed a slightly earlier one, I will drop a video down in the comments below, a link to where you can see a bit of a buying guide, which hopefully helps you out if you are thinking of entering Jaguar ownership. I thoroughly recommend it, but go into it with your eyes open, because it can be rather expensive at times. But hopefully it's also helped that we haven't done this level of work the usual way. It would have been far easier, and not for a minute's doubt would I have that those specialists that did quote £10,000 plus would have done a fantastic job. But it just wasn't possible at the time. We had to find a plan B, and I think we've been pretty successful in doing that, and hopefully that helps at home for you to understand some of the costs in just doing a very minor amount of restoration work on this car. I'll pop all the videos below so you can keep an eye out. We'll be returning back to normal very, very soon. More classic car reviews on the way, more buying guides, and indeed you'll get to see more of the ups and downs of some of my own personal projects as they go on throughout the year. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you for the next video very soon.